As we inch closer and closer to November, I have been putting a big spotlight on Ripple Swell because over the years, we know that this has been a very significant event. We know that at almost every single Ripple Swell in history, we have witnessed major announcements, expansions, even possible acquisitions. And that's all been around this big event. It's one of the largest events that Ripple holds regarding institutional access to crypto, participation around crypto, even policy updates, legislation updates. So I think this is going to be one for the books. I think that this is going to be the biggest swell yet. And I also think that if you hold XRP, or even if you don't hold XRP, Ripple Swell is always a great event to just tap into and listen to some of the discussions that are being made. Because again, almost every single discussion at these events gives us a glimpse into the future around crypto. Now, Anderson posted a great post regarding this year's Swell. We have Get Ready for Swell 2025 in New York. Never have there been so much private sector participation amongst the speakers at Swell. Big things are coming. Traditional finance is ready to implement crypto assets. Some of the participants include NASDAQ, BNY, Franklin Templeton, Citi, BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, MasterCard, CME Group, Moody's, State Street, DBS Bank, Bloomberg, Societe Generale, and many more. And look at this image. I mean, guys, it's crazy to look at this image today. Like, if we're thinking about what's been happening over the years, right? I mean, let's just think about 2020 and 2021. If we go back to 2020 and 2021 and we imagine this image circulating around the space, people would say, you're crazy to think that these names are at Ripple Swell. You're crazy to think that these names are even interacting with Ripple. But this is 2025. And these types of names like BlackRock and Citi and DBS and State Street and Societe Generale and NASDAQ now talking to and working with major crypto companies and having major discussions. This has now become a common, thing. It's something that's just been happening on a almost day-to-day basis that kind of feels so common. Go back a couple years ago and this was extremely uncommon. This is highlighting the big shift happening in real time. We are watching as the entire space around crypto shifts. And we have over here from Anderson, this is why it's exciting that we see Citi represented at Ripple Swell along with JP Morgan. Source, CNBC, Ripple wants a piece of the global payment system. While it fights a cryptocurrency holy war, global banks like Citi make an automatic $8 billion on cross-border payments. Ripple's Garlinghouse acknowledged, I think Citi will be the last customer we ever sign up because it has the highest vested interest in not changing the status quo. So yeah, it is very interesting to see Citi at Ripple Swell. It's even interesting to see JP Morgan at Ripple Swell. It's crazy that these are like the biggest banks out there, the biggest household names in traditional finance, and they are participating at a blockchain-based event. I mean, this is an event held by a blockchain-based company, and the biggest banks are there. That is no coincidence. Ripple is on a different level. Now, on top of this, we think about stablecoins because obviously stablecoins are going to be 100% focused on and discussed at Ripple Swell. The $300 billion stablecoin market is set to grow into trillions. Together with SBI VC official, we are bringing RLUSD to Japan in early 2026, offering users and institutions a trusted, regulated, and fully backed stablecoin built for enterprise use cases. Why am I bringing this back up? Why are we going back to August and talking about an RLUSD expansion in Japan? We already know that back in September, SBI and Ripple, they signed a memorandum of understanding towards distribution of RLUSD in Japan, so they are prepared for this. They have been prepared for this for quite some time. Also, by the way, for those that actually don't know, they did break this down and really kind of gave us an insight on exactly what's going to happen with this. We do have here that RLUSD is a trusted enterprise-grade stablecoin built with compliance and transparency in mind. RLUSD is fully backed by high-quality reserves, including US dollar deposits, short-term US government bonds, and other cash equivalents, with monthly attestations from a third-party accounting firm. This commitment to regulatory clarity sets RLUSD apart from other stablecoins and provides the security that institutions require and expect. SBI Group has been leading the development of the cryptocurrency and blockchain field in Japan. Our company has been the first to obtain the Electronic Payment Instrument Exchange Service Provider license in Japan and have started handling stablecoins. The introduction of RLUSD will not just expand the option of stablecoins in the Japanese market, but is a major step forward in the reliability and convenience of stablecoins in the Japanese market, and an important step in further accelerating the convergence of finance and digital technology. We will continue to work with Ripple to build a safe and transparent financial infrastructure. And if we're thinking about what's going on here, right, this is not the first of many, RLUSD expansions. This was one of the biggest ones, but we also saw another one with Africa, and we just constantly are seeing more and more updates around RLUSD. But again, why am I bringing this back up? Well, it's because of this announcement that we just got on the 22nd. SBI Group partners with Tobu Railway affiliated travel company to issue prepaid tokens. Now, this is from Yoshitaka Kateo, the CEO of SBI, and this is all powered by the XRP ledger. We have here, SBI Group is teaming up with the Tobu Top Tours to launch prepaid tokens on the XRP ledger that can be exchanged for cash and spent like Capital prepaid cards at local stores. This is significant as the market in Japan for prepaid payment instruments is $200 billion annually. The tokens will circulate in regional economic zones from tourist hotspots to sports communities, driving local spending and digital innovation. What I find very interesting about this is happening at the same exact time that we just witnessed this big announcement that SBI and Ripple are going to distribute RLUSD in Japan. I would argue that we will most likely see RLUSD become a part of this. And this is $200 billion per year that is moved just around prepaid payment instruments. This is very, very interesting to see. I feel like a lot of these major announcements that we are watching are all connected in some way. Now, to build on top of this, we have another update around Ripple. We have here Ripple is building infrastructure to help institutions create, store, move, and exchange value around the system. Big shout out to Subjective Views for this. But listen closely to this video.
And how do you think this cross-border payments benefit from the stablecoin integration?
Yeah, I mean, stablecoins are the killer app for global payments. I think what we've seen at Ripple, and Ripple has been in the payments business since 2012, we've seen really from the front row how stablecoins are being used increasingly. And it really has to do with the 24/7 nature of it, the ability to move value in a frictionless way. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's stronger in terms of a regulatory footprint. Again, if you are regulated like we are, it minimizes or negates a lot of the FX transactions that happen. It reduces error. There's a log in an immutable way using blockchain technology. So there's a dozen reasons why it's better, and we're already seeing the benefit of stablecoin adoption, not only in payments, but specifically within the Ripple payments. We've doubled down more recently. We've made an acquisition of a company called Rail that we announced last week, 10% of all stablecoin payment flows. It's a $183 trillion industry today, and I think a unanimous view is that stablecoins are going to be used more and more in the global payments business. And so we're excited about that. We're excited about bringing really a one-stop shop to that sort of solution for institutions who then also need better liquidity. We've got a trading and a prime brokerage business. Now you start to talk to corporate treasurers about how they're going to hold those assets, and we've got a custody business. So we think about the creation, building infrastructure to help institutions create, store, move, and exchange value around the system, and that's where we're investing from an M&A perspective, but also from a internal and organic development standpoint.
Okay. And they really are becoming a one-stop shop for institutional players, but also along with everything that they have to offer. Going even back to that SBI announcement with Japan, right? reading what RLUSD is providing these players, it's that full-on compliant stablecoin that is completely setting RLUSD apart from every other stablecoin. This is also what sets Ripple apart from every other company that wants to offer digital-based institutional infrastructure. Ripple has had this all planned out for years. They've been working towards this moment. And on top of that, they continue to grasp even more licenses. Like, for an example, here we have from Jack McDonald hinting that Ripple will get an EMI license. This is an electronic money institutional license. It lets a company issue e-money, digital cash, hold customer funds, and provide payment services like transfers and wallets across the EU under strict regulation. Check it out.
Would you like to add on?
Yeah, I would say two things. One, to your first question around what are the holdbacks or the factors holding back adoption, I think there's really three. One is comfort, which is going to come from education. And as we talked about earlier, stablecoins, by their very nature of being stable, and particularly when you look at certain stablecoins that are managed in a way, for example, how we manage ours, that we'll talk about in a moment, we're going to give great confidence to the largest institutions to use them. Second of all, regulatory clarity and tailwinds are going to encourage a lot of institutions to come out and adopt stablecoin usage. Then third, having the infrastructure in place to support that. I do think that there's a risk, and this has been suggested in part up here today, that maybe we try to put this new financial operating system on the legacy rails. And I'm concerned that that may actually hold back the potential, or we might try to do it in incremental steps and save money along the way and not actually be bold and innovative, because I do think that there's a better way. We can still work within the system. We're not trying to overthrow traditional financial systems, but I do think the opportunity with this new technology is pretty profound in terms of what we can do. Last thing I would say is that not all stablecoins are the same, and we've issued the gold standard of stablecoins, a dollar-backed stablecoin. BNY Mellon is our custodian. All of our reserves are in high-quality liquid assets. We come out of New York State. We're a fiduciary. We hold our customer assets in bankruptcy remote accounts, et cetera, et cetera. And as the legislation continues to evolve in different jurisdictions, whether it's in the EU where we'll get an EMI license, whether it's a country like Japan where we're partnering with SBI, we're walking through the front door of every regulator, and we're doing it in a regulated way, in a very compliance-first way. And I don't think that we're going to have the same sort of challenges that others are going to do to embrace the opportunity and to entice the largest institutions who want to come and get into this segment of the business by partnering with folks like Ripple.
And yeah, they constantly are reinforcing their infrastructure by getting these licenses. They're expanding their compliance around the world. And this is a strategic move. It's exactly why almost every single one of these moves have been extremely strategic. With SBI, even with all of the expansions happening around SBI, it's to corner the market globally. Even when it goes back to the whole Rail acquisition, right? This was a huge acquisition because it allows them to target the business side of the stablecoin market. Because if you guys do remember, right, Rail has a massive platform already set up where they are processing over 10% of the $36 billion global B2B payments. This is big for Ripple. They are constantly moving in on these acquisitions to strengthen their infrastructure to make sure that they can handle all of the big money movements of digital payments. Even Chad Steingraber said that stablecoins will take over a $183 trillion industry. Rail, owned by Ripple, does 10% of that industry today. Yeah, this is exactly how Ripple asserts dominance and starts to move in on these key industries to ensure that they are processing large percentages of those markets to become one of the largest, if not the largest, institutional digital infrastructure players in the world. We already know that crypto is only going to continue to expand. We already know that crypto is only going to get more and more adopted globally. But one thing is certain, Ripple is only going to become a much more dominant name in this space because of all of the names that they are connected to, all of the names that they've been networking with, all of the partnerships that they've had, and also all of the acquisitions that they are pretty much announcing. I mean, every acquisition this year has been to corner specific markets and utilize stablecoins in those industries and markets. I'm very bullish about this Swell because I do think that at this Swell, it's going to put a spotlight on just how big of a name Ripple has become, and all of the moves that Ripple has made as well will definitely be brought up. But on top of that, I'm sure that we are going to see some pretty big announcements. And again, every single move that we have been witnessing, from the announcement around SBI to even the smaller announcement with SBI, all of these moves, it's just adding up. It's all showing us that this year, we are not, nothing is slowing down around the Ripple ecosystem. We are only continuously seeing more and more XRP expansion, Ripple expansion, RLUSD expansion, and XRP is at the forefront of all of it. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.